Okay, this is Daniel Leigh here with Rock Media UK. I'm here today with Phil from Doomsday, Outlaw. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. So you're a hard rock hell sleaze 2019. How's it to be here?
Oh, it's great. It's going to be great to get back on stage, especially at such an amazing festival. You know, we've had a good bit of time off now, so to get back up there and blow the cobwebs off, you know, hopefully it still sounds all right, you know, because it's been quite a while. It's been 3 months since we did a gig, you know, so...
Why was that? Have you been writing?
We've been doing the new album. We came into this year knowing that it was going to be a slow year in terms of gigging. We had such a busy year last year, and we were pretty constant all the way through the year. But that was with the release of the album that we had last year, which was Hard Times. Then we had the re-release of the first album, Suffer More, as well. But we came into this year knowing that primarily we were going to be writing and recording a new album, which will hopefully be released towards the end of this year. So we gave ourselves enough time to be able to, you know, do something that we were happy with. So
talk me through the timeline, because that sounds like a lot of releases in a very short space of time.
I mean, it's been pretty crazy right the way through, because when I joined the band, we'd recorded and released off our own back our first album, Suffer More, about 9 months after I joined. A week after that came out, we'd been signed to Frontiers, and obviously they said to us we want another album as soon as possible. We had that album finished and recorded, again probably within about 9 months, but then because of certain things we ended up sitting on that album for maybe about another 10 months before we actually released it. So by the time that album came out, we already had another album in the can ready to go.
Because you don't stop writing.
No, we never stop writing. We're constant. So by the time Hard Times came out, we already had pretty much another album already ready to go. So within a few months, we were also already doing sort of demos. So towards the end of the last year, we sent the first lot of demos of what we were going to look into to be doing. And this year, Frontiers were happy with it. Gave us the go-ahead, so then we've come, sort of the start of this year, March kind of time, and started recording this new album. So
was it very frustrating for you, sort of having records there, which you want to release and when you get out, and it's just kind of...
Yeah, I think it was interesting when that Hard Times, which that was our second album, but our first release on Frontiers, because we had to sit on it for so long.
Was that the label's decision, or is it like
it was just
campaign?
Again, it was trying to the time that we release it. I think we didn't want to release it around a certain time, around Christmas, so it ended up becoming much later in the year. But then. We were going to be going on. Someone's just shot themselves there. We were going to be going on tour with Jizzy Pearl over the summer. So then it was, well, so what we'll do is we'll wait until we go on tour with Jizzy Pearl, and we'll release it right around that time. So then we've got a new album to promote around the tour.
Yeah.
And we can start playing the new material and then start selling that album while we're on tour with him. So that then we ended up waiting. I think that would have been August kind of time last year. I think I get mixed up with my dates, but it was around that kind of time. But as I say, by that time we already had this new one pretty much sorted. So
then how did you get that funded? Was that same with Frontiers? I don't know what your deal was or anything, but how did you kind of convince everyone that was a good idea to get back into the studio if you've already got one waiting?
I think it's the way we like to be as well. I mean, me and Steve, who primarily do all the songwriting. I mean, everyone can sort of chip in, but it's primarily me and Steve. We never stop writing. I mean, ideally, I'd like to have an album every year. That's kind of
that is the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we kind of push towards. So we try and do as close to that as we can to try and get in. Because we have that much material that we feel that we can put something out of a decent enough quality, or certainly an improvement upon what was gone before.
Yeah.
So this new album that we're going to have coming out, I think it's the best work that we've done. Although everyone says that.
But if it's not, then you sort of feel it's a bit of a waste of plastic and a bit of a waste of time in the studio.
I kind of say, I mean, that's kind of my thing as well. And I know the other lads feel the same. We certainly wouldn't just be in the studio for the sake of it.
Yeah.
If we didn't feel that it was any good, we just wouldn't bother. If we didn't feel that we could top what's gone before, we'd just call it a day. We're not the sort of people that are just going to be doing this for the next 30 years for the sake of doing it. If we can't keep improving and can't keep evolving, then you kind of
I think while the creativity's there, you have to strike as well.
Exactly that. And we're quite lucky that me and Steve in particular is quite a prolific songwriter as well. It's quite annoying really, because it means I have to do a lot more as well.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Because he'll come to a practice and say, I got these 4 new songs I've wrote. he'll play through them once, I'll record them on my phone, like, right, okay, I'll take them home, I'll try and put some words to them, put some melodies to come back the next week. He'll have 3 more and say, oh yeah, 2 of them last week, they're crap, get rid of them.
Well, how is that for you as a lyric writer? Because, like, you know, having things to come up with, you know, you might be in a very happy place. So, like, you know, what is it? What draws your, what gets you excited and inspired?
Well, it's funnily enough, like every time we've gone into the studio to start recording the album, I've had terrible things going on in my life. So for the first album, Suffer More, right as we were going into the studio to start recording that, I was me and my wife separated, so I started going through a divorce. So that whole album is kind of about that, and then that all died down. I got settled down again, met someone new. I was with them for a long time. I got my little boy living with me, so it was just like me and my boy, and life's all kind of settled and sorted down and everything. We started going into the studio of Hard Times. I'd kind of written half of the album in a quite sort of happy place, and then that relationship all ended, and then the second half of the album was all kind of about that. So this one, I'd say this album has probably been the most challenging lyrically, because I've not had some horrific, like, traumatic event sort of to inspire me, I suppose, you know. So
where is it sort of taking you then lyrically? Is there a overarching theme, or is there a lot of different sort of things which have come up?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I mean, what I always not in like a narcissistic way, but I always write about myself in terms
of what you know. Write what you know.
In terms of I write about my experiences, and I write about my life, and you know, the things that have happened to me. Or every song I write is a story about something that's happened to me in my, you know. So I think that's hopefully why people can connect to some of the lyrics, because they are quite personal to me, but also
you leave it open for the audience to take their own things from them as well.
Especially with that first album, you know, the first album, Suffer More. You can see there's that running theme all the way through it of like I say, of feeling down and that kind of depression, but then sort of fighting your way through it, you know.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think people really gravitate to that, especially with rock and roll. Yeah. It's the sort of thing that, you know, they want to listen to when they wake up in the morning. You know, it's the one thing that, you know, kind of gets them through their day. You do hear that a lot. I mean, do you hear that from your fans, sort of, as you know?
Yeah, whenever I can have that kind of connection, when someone really connects with the lyrics in particular. I think that's what means the most to me, you know. It's great when people like the songs. It's, you know, when anyone that enjoys our music for whatever they get out of it, I enjoy that. But certainly the greatest sort of feeling that it gives me is when I have someone that really connects on a personal level to some of the lyrics that I've written. That gives me the most pleasure, I'd say.
Sure. Well, talk me through. So your vocal style is very like, it's quite relentless. Like, you have a lot of power behind your vocals. Yeah. Is that with touring and stuff? Is it something that you struggle with? Is it something you find very easy, or is it you have like a set routine which kind of, you know, keeps you?
I mean, like you say, it is. It can be difficult sometimes. Touring is something that has to be managed. I certainly found that last year, because we did 3 tours in pretty quick succession, and certainly when you're doing sort of 5 gigs in 6 days, it was an eye-opener, because it was the first time I'd ever really done anything like that. That was that kind of really relentless, and we go into it to start with, and I very quickly learned that I can't be drinking and smoking after every show, and then maybe just understand that, all right, we've got the first night out of the way, but you're going to be singing in 5 days' time as well, and you still need to be. And nothing depresses me more than not being able to give my best on stage. There's no worse feeling. I know when I come off and I don't feel like my voice is as good as it can be, and it just makes me feel like shit. So I need to do is be able to give my best. So I have to sort of just hold myself back maybe sometimes and just understand that I have to conserve my voice. Yeah.
I hear you, man. It's one of those things you become a slave to almost. I mean, you know, between what you eat, what you drink, you know, how much you talk, how much you shout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's and all the rest of your band like, oh fucking hell, it's fucking diva over there.
I tell you, vocal zone has saved my life on many,
Yeah,
on many
yeah,
occasions.
yeah.
Man.
No,
I tell you
I
that
hear you,
stuff.
man.
I mean, even for that. It's great stuff. I can't remember who it was who got me onto Vocal Zone originally.
Did you get an endorsement with them?
Yeah, I have done as well.
I wondered. No,
so
I have one too.
Because they are,
they are very good, but they are genuinely really good.
Yeah, but and like the teas and everything, and I tell you, them, they've sorted me out on many occasions, mate. I live on them, yeah.
Cool. So we'll wrap it up pretty soon because we are running out of time. But just want to say. Like what is it that kind of what kind of keeps you inspired in this game, and along with that, what sort of advice would you give to any other bands that are kind of really trying to make it in the industry right now?
I mean, what inspires me primarily, I mean, it's the joy of doing it. It's the feeling I get when I'm up there singing. All the other stuff that goes around it, the waiting around, and the sometimes the misery that comes with being in a band, because sometimes it's a miserable experience being in a band, you know.
Yeah.
But the overriding feeling is that excitement and that smile I have on my face when I'm on stage and when I'm singing to people, and when I can see that people are into the music that I've had an hand in creating. There's nothing more inspiring than that. In terms of bands coming through, it's just about keep doing what you're doing, and it's you know, I mean, you need a bit of luck as well. It's the right place, right time. Obviously. These guys were going for a few years before I joined, and then we had that first album out that we put together. We were just lucky. I mean, Frontier saw it was one review. We got a review of the album that was really positive. The head of Frontier saw that review. He got in touch with us, and like I say, a couple of weeks later, we were signed to the label.
That's fantastic.
So sometimes you just need that bit of luck as well. But if you keep going, I think, like, and working hard, eventually that luck will come. I mean, I've been in bands since I was 14 years old, so it took me for 20 years to, well, not quite 20 years, 18, what was it, about 32? 18 years of being in bands before I finally got that break, so you have to just keep going.
Ultimately, you're saying be good, because you never know who's going to read that one good review, who's going to be interested in you.
And you never know. Be wary of who you piss off as well.
Oh yeah, I've heard that so many times this weekend.
In terms of promoters, people that run the doors at venues, or anyone, because you never know who they know.
Yeah.
And all it would take is, you know, a bad word in someone's ear, or all it takes is a good word in someone's ear. And before you know it, the right person's coming to your gig to watch you play, or listen to your CD, whatever it might be. And you know,
bad reputations are hard things to wash off.
That's it. You struggle. So yeah, just be nice. That's it.
So where can our audience find you, and where should they be looking?
Obviously, I mean, all the usual channels like Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. You can see where all our gigs are coming up. We've got a tour coming up in October. I've got dates here next to me, man, which I always forget. So we start off in, where are we starting off? Like the 4th of October in Bradford. And then I ain't going to read them all out, but
go online, check out the dates. Yeah,
if you go on our Facebook, you can find out from there. So yeah, it's going to be good to be getting back on tour. We've got another tour that we can't announce yet, end of December. Obviously, we're back here next week for HRH Crows, which is going to be cool. So yeah, the end of the year is going to be busy, and the new album. Certainly the first single off the new album is going to be out at the end of this year.
Lovely.
And then we'll see where we go from there.
Wicked stuff. Phil, thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
man. Great speaking to you.
Okay,
have a great day today. Have a great show. We'll see you soon.
My pleasure.
Take care.